Trav. I got two of the most beautiful women in the entire world in here with me tonight. I have April Cobb, the one and only, and I got Miss Denise. Y'all make some noise for them. They'll be hanging out with me tonight talking about some very important things that we really need to talk about. A lot of us don't talk about every day, all day, at all. So y'all stay tuned. Make sure you guys text a friend. That www.in-news.com, and make sure you guys call in because I'm pretty sure somebody's going to have an opinion about what we have to say tonight. But y'all know I always got to start off with what I learned in the trap this week. And baby, they're still killing black men. Woo! Why they still doing that, y'all? And I mean, you know what? I really thought, and I told Anna last week when we were talking about the George Floyd murder trial, right? We got to make sure we say that correctly. Talking about the George Floyd murder trial, and I was saying how I hope that they convict the officer, because if not, it's going to be a riot summer, a hot riot summer, right? And then within that week, you know, somebody mistaking a gun, a taser for a gun. That's what they said, right? So if you haven't heard, and if you living on the right, I wish you didn't have to hear, right? Wish you didn't have to hear that an officer, and y'all correct me, Minnesota? Yes. Minnesota, female officer was stopping a young black man, and she thought she was pulling out her taser to tase him, but she pulled out her gun to shoot him, and immediately after she said, "Oh my goodness, I shot him." I don't know how she mistaken her taser for y'all seen Auntie Maxine held up the
yeah, it doesn't make sense to me.
It doesn't.
Because after going through here in Hillsborough, in the city of Tampa, they have the TPD Academy. And I had an opportunity to hold a taser and an opportunity to, I know what a firearm feels like. And they're so indifferent. They feel different. And for you to bring along that level of experience that you say you have,
20 plus years.
There is no way. Mm-hmm. There is no way.
So it saddens me because it's like we keep getting slapped in the face. Remember the Kanye verse that says, you can be in a Bentley, but you're still in it. Right.
Yeah. Trick Daddy said that too in America. He said, you got a college degree and a 100 everything, and you still in that.
You know what I'm saying? We can't say what we want to say on the show because it's PG, but you get what I'm saying. You still win. So it's almost like a slap in the face that, no matter how much we push forward, no matter how many quote unquote changes we try to go, it's always something. Now you want to say you mistaken something? Come on now. Like, what is it? So it really saddens me and it frustrates me because, and I think I said this a few months ago. This week, one good thing that happened this week is my brother made captain with the fire department.
I saw that.
So
that's
a huge deal.
In the city of Tampa. Yes.
Shout out to Reggie. He works for Hillsborough Fire. But he's now a captain, so which means he would literally have his own fire station.
That's awesome.
Once he's placed, and it's such a big deal. But when these situations happen, I think it could be my fire captain brother.
Yes, it could. Mm-hmm. Very easily,
because it was a lieutenant this week in the military.
That's correct. Yes,
right.
It was, yes.
And then speaking of the military, y'all please forgive me because I've been knowing Miss April Cobb for about 5 years now. So I call her Auntie April. So please forgive me, if I call her Auntie April. Today's my first day meeting Miss Denise, so I can't wait to build a relationship with you. But Auntie April, you mentioned the military guy that.
So that was an incident, and I try not to get so captured into all that's going on, out there in the social media world. But one thing about it, when there's an incident where someone that is non-black that intimidates, murders, just basically deface the overall value or the quality of a black male, hey, that is so highly publicized and quickly shared. So once again,
you can't ignore it.
Yeah, there's no way. Mm-hmm. So from what I gathered, because I haven't did my dive into research, that within a 10-mile radius of where George Floyd was murdered, that there is the same scenario where this young man was being shoved around and pushed around by a lieutenant, whatever his ranking is in the military. Mm-hmm. And long story short, it's just as because the young man was in the wrong neighborhood, supposedly at the wrong time. So moving fast forward, it appears that the young man has some type of disability.
Yes.
Or, may have been.
I didn't catch that.
Yeah, or, we interact with young folks all the time.
Teachers. Yes.
So you could tell that there might have been some type of disability or disconnect.
Autistic.
With that's what I would have said, autistic. And, that's why he just only knew to respond. That he was saying the same thing repetitively, like, why are you doing? But anyway, long story short, the man just basically, just shoved him around and, told him in so many words, you don't belong here. And when he spoke to his wife, which the young man didn't really directly speak to his wife, he just went ham on him.
I saw that. And, that's so interesting that you pointed that out. Because when I watched the video, I didn't see a particular issue with maybe him being autistic. I didn't catch that.
It appears that way.
But you're right though, because when you talk about like the different things that he was saying, the guy wasn't aggressive at all.
No,
the kid wasn't aggressive.
Didn't know how.
Right.
But I don't even understand, because I'm thinking about in my mom's neighborhood. My mom, she lives in a subdivision. It's like there's no reason why the people walk around there all the time. Why you feel that comfortable to come out there? And I don't even care if he had because apparently they were saying he had a disagreement with another neighbor or something. But I mean, somebody was being nosy, and the boy probably responded, was like, I'm supposed to be here. So if that's a disagreement, and so but when black people, when we good, baby, because the black people came and they showed out in the neighborhood. And what I loved is when I saw it going on social media, when I saw it on these big blogs, people were commenting like, that's my neighborhood. This is where it is. So I think that's how they were able to kind of come together so fast.
Right.
But I hope because he did put his hands on him. He pushed him
very hard.
All video evidence. Evidence.
And that was the interesting part. His wife was the one that, and I wonder, I don't know if did y'all hear how the video got out?
No.
Did the wife post it or something?
I thought it was and it's a woman. I think it was Shirley, whatever her name was. I thought someone else was video recording it, and she may have been standing next to or near them, but I don't think it was actually her recording it, because that would be like asinine to put your own self in that situation. So from what I gathered, there was two individuals that was there to support the young man, and that's how the
video came out.
That's what I gathered.
But that's that level of entitlement that people,
oh my God,
non-melanated people have, and they have a tendency. So why do you feel that you're justified in asking me where I live, where I'm going, what do I need to do, where do I work? I mean, those are not questions for me to answer you.
Who are
that's
you?
Just who are you to ask me that? So it's like we have to validate our existence.
My God.
And it's like, why do I need to constantly prove to you that I deserve to live?
I keep telling these people now, these white people, we ain't our grandparents or our great grandparents, baby. Please,
it's a whole different generation.
Come through.
We not them. Trust and believe, okay? And we tired, and I'm happy that the guy wasn't by himself. Like, I'm just happy that I don't know if y'all saw in the video, there was like two aunties walking by, they was working out, and then they turned around, and then of course when I heard them say you don't want any trouble, I kind of wanted, like, y'all should stand up for him. But in my first mind, but it's really not about them.
Right.
They just wanted to deflect the situation.
Yes.
But I'm happy that he wasn't alone, because if he was alone, and especially if he has some areas of, where he's working like autistic, that could have went so bad.
Yes, it could have.
It could have went so bad. So that is what I learned in the trap this week, man. Hold on to your loved ones, love on them, and support each other. And to be honest, I'm happy that those women, whoever's recording, was there, because it could have been bad. If you see somebody going through something, it's time out for us saying, "Oh, that ain't none of my business."
Right. There's no.
It's really time out for that. It's okay for you to stop to listen.
Yes.
It's okay for you to record. You might save a life,
That's
right?
correct.
Because that might be your cousin or your brother or your sister that just might be in the quote unquote wrong area at the wrong time.
Right.
But people, it's just a Karen and a Joseph.
That's correct.
You feel what I'm saying?
That's correct.
So. I encourage you guys. I hope we don't have to deal with this anymore. But to be realistic, we probably will. It's not just it's not just none of your business. So that is what I learned in the trap this week. Love it, and let's come together positively.
Yes.
If we see the situation, go camp out in front of it. Let's have a barbecue over there.
And an entire front lawn.
Yeah.
Right. So that is what I learned. That's
Pull
what
a
I
lawn
learned
chair.
in the trap this week, you guys. So like I told you guys, we have Miss April Cobb here and Miss Denise here. They are some of the most impactful educators that I have seen in Hillsborough County since I have actually realized, like, okay, these teachers actually make a difference. You know what I'm saying? So y'all tell us about what you guys got going on. We got a few minutes, so we're just gonna do an introduction and we'll come back and get into it.
All right. Well, Denise and I are the chair and co-chair of Sunshine Education Coalition. And in a nutshell, we are comprised of educators, community individuals, and anyone that want to bring highlights, illuminate, and eradicate the school-to-prison pipeline, which is a true thing nationwide. But we're only concerned about Hillsborough County because past data from that we have had access to within the last 2 years, it demonstrated that Hillsborough County Public Schools lead the school to prison pipeline for the state of Florida.
Are you serious?
Yes, we do, and that's a problem. That's a problem.
So what is if someone has never heard of the school to prison pipeline, what is that?
It is a series of, I would say, consequences, experiences, biases, all of these things that are compiled together against our black and brown youth, and particularly our black boys. And these are consequences that they will suffer in school and that build upon them, and it just channels them away from their educational ability to get an education. So once they're suspended, they're removed from school. Once they're put in ISS, they don't get access to classwork. Anything that takes them out of school and reduces the amount of days that they spend in school is basically cutting them a direct path into the prison. Because if you don't have your education and you don't have the ability to learn, it is being stripped from you, and then they're penalizing you for just being who you are or for your culture. Because remember, a lot of the teachers, even though are in certain schools have a high population of black students, but the teachers don't represent the culture of the kids in the school. So now you have a bunch of teachers who are culturally biased towards our children, and then they just write referrals for things that don't even. I know a child's going to chew some gum in my class. I'm going to just say, go ahead and spit it out. All right? It's done. Somebody else will write an entire referral because that child just was chewing gum in the classroom.
Insubordination.
And insubordination. Now the child has a record of discipline issues mounting on them. And now, of course, the system is looking at these discipline referrals and saying, well, you know what? This child can't read. The child has 20-something referrals from the time they've been in elementary school. Let's build a prison because we know this child is not going anywhere.
So you're saying their record, quote unquote, starts at 9th grade?
Their record starts from before then.
Oh.
Third grade. We going way back.
Yeah.
Okay. So they're okay. Wow. So because I went to Tech.
Okay.
Okay. I'm a Tampa native, so I went to Tampa Bay Tech. So, but you're right. But Tech was a little bit different. They had a lot of diverse teachers, but depending on the program.
I was going to say
Right.
We know that data even back then.
Okay, listen, because I just so y'all know, I graduated 08. Okay, 2008. Tech. So I went to Tech, right? Tech. Okay, so but now that I'm thinking about it, because you're talking and I'm thinking a lot like about the experience. So depending on the program, show the type of teachers we had.
That is correct.
Right. That's correct.
Because Tech, if you're not familiar with Tampa, Tech is a technical school. So most of the students that graduate from there, they have some type of certificate or degree. I think I graduated with a business certificate, which is interesting that I'm a business. That's so crazy. I graduated with a business certificate, and I had some class in accounting.
Okay.
Right. So, but I had a lot of white teachers.
Yeah.
Yes.
Because it's vocational. It was steered towards you going into a career.
Right.
Wow.
So if you sit and take a moment to think back the number of African American teachers that you had for courses like content, the key 4 contents, math, science, language arts, and social studies, how many of those were black?
I had Miss Currency.
I want you to go all the way back to 1st grade now.
Yeah.
I want you to count. You're going to be able to stop on you ain't going to get to that second hand in most cases. The question is why?
And if those are the core content that need to teach you how to read, how to process, how to critically think, and then they look at you and say you're a behavioral problem, they're not going to want to gear their focus towards you.
That's correct.
So here it is, a bunch of black boys now who are constantly a behavior problem for other teachers. They're going to write referrals on them, kick them out of class, things like that. And where are those boys going to go? Their self-esteem is low. The feeling of hopelessness is high, especially with them watching the news and seeing what's going on. And now I got to go into class with a white teacher who's teaching me civics because I don't know anything about black history. I'm going into there with a white teacher who doesn't care about where I'm from or who I am.
And we talking about starting in 3rd grade.
Third grade.
Oh my God.
And then the gaps are bigger in terms of literacy.
That's
we'll get to
correct.
that.
Yeah.
Okay. All right, y'all. This gonna be good. If you haven't already, make sure you text a friend. www.intouchnews.com. www.in-touchnews.com. I got so many questions in my I have so many questions in my head, y'all. We'll be back. Trap Talk Radio with Miss Denise and April Cobb.
Hey, this is Agent Wright, better known as Mr. Clean. You looking for some great barbecues? Come see them two brothers in the grill, located at 423 Virginia Street, Charleston, West Virginia. We got ribs, chicken, pulled pork, brisket, collard greens, mac and cheese, baby. Come get some and get you a nice, smooth cigar. 304-550-4431. That is 304-550-4431. Come get some, baby. The Rib Man, mama, the Rib Man.
In Touch Radio.
This is Joel Sylvain
and Kevin Carr,
and we're with Power Moves, where celebrities, athletes, key influential executives
influencers
share how they make money, how they attract power, and how they earn respect. Come join us every Tuesday at 8 p.m. Power Moves
on In Touch Radio.
Y'all, it's Trap Talk Radio, Trap Talk, Trap Music, and Trap Possibilities with Madam CJ, right here on In Touch Radio, reality radio, where everyone is a star. And if you've already missed the first part of the show, girl, I'm sorry you did, sir. You can catch up now. I got Miss Denise and I have April Cobb in the building right now. They are giving us some extremely important information about y'all correct me if I'm wrong, the school to prison pipeline epidemic.
Correct. Yeah, that's
epidemic.
That is exactly what it is.
Mm-hmm. School to prison pipeline epidemic, and they're educating myself and those that are listening about the tragedy that our Black and brown kids, especially the boys, face when they are in school. And so, if I can understand you correctly, you guys say y'all focus is Hillsborough County because your research have found that Hillsborough County leads the state of Florida in this school to prison pipeline.
Yes. That is correct. On our last data. Remember, COVID kind of stepped in and stomped and threw us all around.
Okay.
So the last data that we had would be from the 2018, 2019, and that's most
that was
current.
Yesterday.
Yeah,
right.
We just want to point out, but there are so many that say that we're using old data. Well, yeah, we're using old data then. But what we can say is that data would mirror current data if we remove the COVID scenario that happened.
Absolutely.
It kind of shook us all up. So it is what it is.
Mm-hmm. So for someone like me, y'all know I got my baby is 2, right? Before I know it, she's going to be going to school.
That's correct. Mm-hmm.
As a parent, like as advocates for this, where do we go? Who needs to know about this, right? Who needs to know?
Everybody.
Okay.
Because even though you may not have a Black or brown child, I say to people all the time, we're responsible for all children. All children. Imagine if Denise and I entered a classroom and said that we're only going to focus on the Black and brown children. We don't have that luxury. We treat all children equally. My Black boys may feel as though, I get on them a little bit more than others. I do. I remind them what society has already deemed them as, and they need to identify how to do something different so they don't fall into statistics.
Correct.
So, again, what if we behave the way that non-Black teachers behave and refer to those students as them students, like we always hear? I can't deal with that child.
Those students.
Or those students. What does that mean?
Right.
And we're always the dumping ground, because that's what we refer to it as when they can't deal with those students.
Right.
But when you introduce that child to me, Auntie April started to have those conversations. Boy, you don't sit your butt down,
Right.
and get yourself together. Your mama look like me, and you need to get, those are the conversations I have. Because what we don't want to make our students or our children feel as though we are being coddled or enabled into this candy farm, this chip farm, to where if you do the right thing, Daquan, I'm going to give you a piece of candy. No. You are basically enabling that behavior that when he acts out, you're going to give him something sweet and give him a sugar hype for the moment, but you're not addressing what you all are not capable of coming into agreement with, that what he or she is doing is not appropriate for that time, which means you're avoiding building a relationship with the child.
Right.
That's what it is.
And if you have a relationship with children, then you're able to teach them.
That's
so.
correct.
So you need to figure out. You need to find a way to cross that barrier you have. If you're not culturally, if you don't understand that child on a cultural level, build that. Figure out where the connection needs to be. Because yes, that teacher might be a white teacher that's never lived in the hood or never been around Black people, but these are your children in front of you.
So are teachers trained? Is that a part of the degree process to be culturally sound?
Well,
they try.
Okay.
Let's just say they try. What they do is
they teach us 2 years.
Right, exactly.
No.
Right. So it's like we imagine you're given a checklist. And here's a checklist of things that you need to take in order to say you're going to teach at a Title I school. Okay, you got to take a course on poverty. You got to take a course on, whatever. And it's like, you're just giving these courses once in the whole time that you're teaching. They need to be a bias training, like at least monthly, especially for new
Checkpoints,
teacher.
yeah.
Right.
It should not be something to say, I'm just going to check this off because, okay, now I've taken a class on how the little black children act. No, that's not working for us.
Wow.
Because we exist. We are in existence.
Right.
We are going to be here. We're here.
Yeah.
Even though we only represent a little under 25%.
Right.
Holistically for our district out of 200 plus thousand. Our children are kicked out of school 3 to 4 more times more.
Yes.
So we were in a meeting just recently with leadership downtown. And you know what EPIC centers are? They're alternative schools.
Okay.
So here's the data from the alternative schools. So collectively, there are 195 students. Of those 195 students, 30 are white, 43 are Hispanic, 1 is Asian, 0 is Indian, and 8 multiracial. 113 are black.
Wow.
So, doesn't that sound familiar with the data as a mirror to prisons?
Yes.
If we don't do something to bring more awareness to the black community about how to be advocates for their children, we basically are a part of the problem. Holistically, we are a part of the problem.
So, who knows about this? Does the police know about it?
Yes. You know over there, what is it? Was it St. Pete where they would take mining the data to build jails?
Yes.
They aware of it. They know the numbers. They know the numbers.
So what about like people the mayor and like do these people
Yes.
know about
We have met with the mayor, and we had these conversations, and we're like, understand. So now, one thing that I know we got from that was that the demographics of the city is changing. However, this data right here just hasn't changed either.
No.
You could change the demographics of the city. I guarantee you, black people gonna still be incarcerated at higher numbers.
So if they know about this, are they just not putting the efforts towards to try to fix it? And is that why you're saying parent? You got to start at home.
We got to start at home, then community.
Yes.
Community is the key. Because we know home life is not always these picture-perfect reality shows in which so many of our families are trying to mirror. So we have to do something indifferent, which means that community, back in the days for me, if my grandmother was at work, community know to tell me to go carry my butt in the house and don't talk back and da-da-da-da. So now community is so hands-off to where when they see things that are going wrong with these children and then they carry those behaviors over into the school setting, it's not my problem.
Right.
So based off what you guys see now, in the world we're living in now, and the organization and what you guys are doing, what do you feel like is the key? I mean, because like you said, we have the attitude of, that ain't my problem. Like, what could we do? What could we do?
So action items for us is educating the community on this issue and constantly bringing forth to those in leadership roles in efforts to identify what funding could be, captured and embedded in our cities in order to change this direction in which we're going in. Because we get funding for everything else. Because this basically is a systemic issue. It's no indifferent when they was talking about the rioting and the protesting that was going on downtown, and then they start, the officers were doing the pellet guns and so on and so forth. It basically went and captured an image from back in the 60s, 70s.
Yep.
And then immediately money was flooded into, we're going to do this, we're going to do that. But remember, these are children.
Yes.
We need to fix this now so they don't lead into that young adult life and be so angry and rageful.
I'm sorry.
Where we're wondering why there's constantly guns in that's the only way they know how to fight back is with picking up a gun. Is it excusable? No, because somebody will misconstrue my words. It's not excusable, but our black males are angry as hell. They angry.
Yeah. Right.
Do they have a right to be? Yes.
Absolutely. And then you think about the community, you think about what they're watching on TV, you think about that. You know how difficult it is to be an educator and go into a classroom after a black man has been killed.
So how is, as educators?
It is so difficult because our boys they feel like they don't have any hope.
Yes.
So of course their behavior is going to be exacerbated because they're just acting up, and I cannot even blame them because how am I going to live? Am I going to live? Am I be allowed to live? And that's the thing. And so it's hard. It is very, very hard to have those conversations with them, but they are necessary conversations because we have to talk to our children.
I know I said a couple months ago that the just comply, like that thought process, or they was just that has gone away.
Yeah, there's no more.
There's no more of that.
So I can only imagine that if now, if it was, 5 or 6 years ago and the kids that are in the class were like, well, I'm not a thug. I don't relate to that. Now it's right at home.
Right.
You don't have to be doing anything.
Right.
You see what I'm saying? So I can only imagine that it's that much harder to have, and y'all have to deal with that.
Yes.
Wow.
And it becomes a place of, I know, just from my experience, hypothetically, I have a young man that's sent to my classroom on probably like about 2-3 times a day. And it's not because he's not smart enough or not capable of doing the work. It's because he's so angry. Like, somebody could say anything to this child, hypothetically, and when I tell you he going to full pledge, I'm getting ready to tear some butt up. Like, in your face, say something say one more word, I'm going to drag you through this school. He's so full of rage, and I say to him all the time, hypothetically, you can't do that, honey. You can't do that. And his response is, why not? And I'm saying to him,
What you supposed to say?
What mom or dad is talking about at home, grandma, auntie? What are they saying to you? Because I don't want to overstep my language to them. Like, again, as an educator, we carry a lot of baggage. And we carry a lot of baggage that's not even ours. I'm responsible for 302, but sometimes it's 308, 309, 310, 3 whoever can't deal with that child for today.
Right.
In my room, I welcome it because I do know that they're able to de-escalate themselves when they come in my room because they know, boy, go sit down. It's not that big of a deal. But just be mindful that the referrals that are being written don't exhibit that. They say something different.
Yep.
Nobody's talking to the black boys in the school. No one's. The majority are not being reached. There are some mentorship groups out there, but it's not a representation of the majority. And we aren't having those conversations.
Correct. And it's not a plan either. It's like looking at for example, we're prepping right now for the 2021-22 school year. Okay, where is the program for the kids that right now are having issues?
That's correct.
You're already going to receive them. They come in. But, of course, Hillsborough County is bleeding money. So here it is now.
What does that mean?
They're $40 million in deficit. Okay, that cutting people left and right, thousands of jobs. And so now here it is. We know that this issue is not just a back burner, but out the door, around the corner someplace. That's not even their concern. So here we are now with another set of kids who have these issues, and we don't have the support.
Well, where's the nonprofits?
Right. That's a great question. That's a great question.
I ain't trying to disrespect nobody, but like we talking about money, like. If the motive is a little dollar, what are nonprofits at to get funding?
Right. Exactly.
The major ones. That would be a good.
Right.
That's
right.
The major ones, the ones that's getting the real dollars.
Right.
The one that's getting the real dollars.
The real dollars. Because us little small ones, we using our own school teacher money.
Right.
And spend. Yeah, that's
for
what
sure.
I do.
Correct.
Yeah.
For sure. For sure.
And then I also bring forth the call to action and the challenge to say for our sororities, for fraternities, professional organizations. Don't just go to one school, mentor at that one school, and think that that's happening throughout the district. Once again, our African-American children are being pushed out of schools 3 to 4 more times likely than their white peers. We should all be having some type of conversation with whomever that's in a leadership role collectively, as the same way we put on those colors, that we have pillars on our within our organization that's supposed to be about education for youth. Do something.
And to add to that, please make sure you don't just go to the A schools, because the D and F schools need you the most.
Yes, God.
I just want to reiterate that point.
Okay, y'all. We'll be right back. It's getting juicy. It's getting juicy. We'll be right back on Trap Talk Radio, y'all. Don't go nowhere.
The storks are bringing me a baby brother. We can do this together.
All right, let's go.
Storks know how to keep kids safe. Do you?
What?
Oh my gosh, you don't know.
I know.
You don't. Oh man, you laugh when you're uncomfortable.
No.
Making sure your child is in the right car seat is one of the steps to safer travel.
I will rock this.
You will rock this.
To know for sure that your child is in the right car seat for their age and size, visit safercar.gov/the-right-seat.
Cool. Very cool.
Brought to you by the National Highway Traffic Safety Administration and the Ad Council.
It's important to plan ahead for emergencies, like the storm. When it kicked in, we had a plan.
Separated.
We were able to get in touch with each other in no time.
Idea how to find each other.
The whole experience was
the
fine.
most frightening 10 hours of my life.
If there's one piece of advice I'd offer other moms out there, it's to stay calm and keep to the plan.
Some parents plan ahead, some don't. Make sure you know where to find your family in an emergency. Start your plan at ready.gov. Brought to you by FEMA and the Ad Council.
All you sports fans, tune in every Monday morning to listen to Mic'd Up Mondays with Michael Clayton. You don't want to miss this.
On In Touch Radio.
Hey y'all, it's Trap Talk Radio. Trap Talk, trap music, and trap possibilities of Madam CJ right here on In Touch Radio, reality radio where everyone is a star. And we have the most beautiful women in the world. On my show tonight, we have Miss Denise and April Cobb in the building. They putting us on, baby. If you haven't already been listening, we are talking about the school to prison pipeline and how it's time for you and whoever you connected to make a difference. I kind of heard about this a little bit, but I've never really was able to get like real data. Mm-hmm. And I am floored. And first of all, I keep thinking high school, but they keep saying that this
well before.
Mm-hmm. This y'all saying third grade, yes, that this history, this quote unquote record. Sorry, why do you feel like it starts in third grade?
It begins with literacy. Begins
yes.
with, a lot of this is the thing. I heard something this particular week that, a lot of times people don't understand. Children learn immediately as they come out the womb.
Yes.
So that means their first teacher is their parent. So you cannot say to me that all my child's education should take place in school. No, before they walked in the door, they knew how to talk. How did that happen? Somebody was talking to them,
That's
so they
correct.
learned speech.
Come on.
So therefore, and for the time you're to 2-3 years old, you can pick up a crayon and color. So that means you should at least know how to write your name before you walk in that door at 4 years old. So for you to say to me that this is impossible, they don't learn anything, at home, and all education comes from school, no. So I say all that to say this. Yes, it begins in third grade, which means the foundation has to be strong at that point in time. And that's the foundation of home and school. It cannot just be, okay, I'm dropping a 5-year-old off that has no clue. I don't know my name, my last name, my first name. Mommy, mommy name is not Bubbles. Her name is, what is her real name? Mm-hmm. What's her address? What's her phone number? All that should be coming to school. Now, let me begin to teach you how to read and write. So a lot of the things that they're saying is, okay, well, this is all on the teacher. No, you're between home and school, the foundation, just a basic skill like reading to your child every night. Guess what that does? That shows the child that, my parents like reading too. That means that's something I can pick up on. Mm-hmm. And by showing them that simple skill, now they can take that all the way through because now they care about reading. They care that's something to grasp onto them. So now if they miss that foundational skill at that point in time, outside of the soft skills, which is manners and things like that, okay? They miss that foundational skill. You're talking about now you're falling behind every year.
That's correct.
Kindergarten, first grade, second grade, third grade. And now you're trying to figure out why I got 6th and 7th graders that read on the first grade reading level.
Majority.
So the majority of them. So now by the time you get to 9th grade, you're looking at a whole generation of high school dropouts because it's going to get harder from that point on. So it has to start home with the foundation between pre-K and the parent. You cannot say, I'm going to just throw them in a school and not deal with them anymore. It can't fall on us because a school is only 6.5 to 7 hours for kids. The rest of the day, where they at? They someplace else.
Right.
Like when a parent would complain and say to me, okay, I don't know what you did. You're not helping him read. Ma'am, I met him and he was 13. So understand, that means where was he from 1 to 12?
Right.
I just met him. So therefore, tell me where you can help me help him.
And then that also goes back to some children have been, I want y'all to envision this. Mm-hmm. Some children have been in a DF school
all their life. Yep.
Yeah.
Yep. K through 8.
So
K through 8.
They have been in a failing system all their life until they get to a high school or middle school.
Right.
So their foundation, do you expect it to be strong? Now the question becomes, why haven't we identified those areas that we can, do some additional supports for those children well before they get to 5th and 6th grade? Because to me, I'm not big on retention. I'm just really not. If kindergarten and first grade, I don't. Actually, first grade and second grade, I don't believe in retention for those grade levels. If you're going to retain them, just retain them in third. Because therefore, you should have some type of program impact that's going to go back and capture those skills. But once kids are retained first grade, and then again in third, that's 2 grade levels they're behind. Then you're going to put them in 6th grade and say, oh, there's a magic potion that you can jump from one grade level to the next.
You can't.
It just has not proven to work because it basically put more stressors on the child's mental psyche. And let's not talk about the parents that just like, how do I help my child? Which again is so important for them to learn how to advocate properly.
So, and when you say advocate, you're saying don't be so far removed.
That's
from,
correct.
Don't
Yes.
just be
That's correct.
Yes.
Okay, that's the teacher problem.
Yes.
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 Interesting.
Yes.
Yeah.
Okay.
Because I think a lot of it comes from the trauma from the parent having that
That's
past
correct.
trauma. I don't want to go to school because now I got to talk to the principal. I remember how I felt when I talked to the
Right.
principal. But this is your child, and you have access to your child's education. You should be very involved in your child's education. Like you should know all your teachers' names. You should know what subjects they teach. You should ask detailed questions of not just how was school today. What did you learn in school today? What was going on in your courses? And do you have homework? Yes, because
Yes.
you need to know that. You mean tell me you went to school for 7 hours and you didn't learn anything? You learned something.
Yes. They should be able to take away at least a couple of gems from what they learn in the school
Every day.
Something.
Every day.
And the key word, get rid of the filler words. How was school today? Good. What is good?
No.
What is good?
No.
What is good?
Wow. I mean, y'all, I'm not. I'm not an educator, but I'm just thinking about like my dad was very involved in my schooling. Like, you know what I'm saying? Like he was the one coming to parent teacher conference.
Right.
He wasn't because my parents worked a lot.
Right.
They just pretty much set standards, and if I didn't meet those, then we having a conversation.
That's correct.
But my daddy was the one popping up at the school. Like he knew all my teachers.
Yes.
He knew like what's going on, what we doing. You
Right.
know, I never forget Miss Butts at Tech. You know Miss Butt. Oh, Miss Butts was.
But you got what you needed though, right? Didn't you?
I did.
See, and that's me. That's me all day.
So Miss Butts, she was hilarious. So I got a C in her class, right? I got a C in her class, and my daddy was just like, "Oh nah, like what we doing?
Right.
C's are no, we're not doing that." So, and I think it was like because he would allow me to get one C, right? But it was like this. He was like, okay, so
Mine was always in PE
which
because I went
C you gonna get it in? Because my brother was like, my dad was like, you got 2 C's. Like, which C we gonna talk about?
Right,
you know.
right.
So I was like, this one, right? So she said that I didn't do something. So my daddy, we went to the school and we had a meeting, and I did the work, but what she told me was, you gave me C work.
Right.
So I gave you a C.
Right.
No, let's fix that
No,
language.
no.
You
Earned a
a
C.
C.
Yeah.
All right, because I got a sign
yeah.
up in my room that said, no, I don't give grades. I record your lack of progress.
She
That's what
said
I do, okay?
You gave me C quality work, and I was looking at her now. I'm like, who are you? Who you talking to?
As the child.
Yeah, right,
in front of my daddy. In front of my daddy.
Listen. Y'all don't always act like I was an old lady. So I'm sitting there looking at her like, excuse me? And she said, that's what you gave us. She said, yeah, and I had the right answers. It was like a booklet we had to come up with. I had the right answer, but I just didn't go above and beyond. So she was like, I didn't give you that. And so once I realized her expectations, I got A's in her class all the time.
Right.
But she was a teacher to tell me, like, I'm not going to just give you no A just because you feel like you should get one.
Right, correct. That's exactly how I am.
I would never forget
exactly
Miss
how I
Butt.
am.
And, mind you, she went to
right.
She went to Mama Mariah.
I showed up.
Yes.
Is she still living?
I'm not sure. Because I went to Mama Mariah too. I'm not sure.
I'm not sure if Miss Butt is still living.
Right.
But anyway, I would never, ever forget that. I would never forget that she was just like, I'm not going to just give you something because you feel like
Right.
when you didn't give me that.
And that's the issue that we're seeing is that, a lot of kids don't understand when we push them because I demand excellence from
That's
you.
correct.
Because the world is going to expect you
what
to
she
have
does.
all that.
Yes.
So therefore, you slacking in this class over here because they don't want to deal with you. But in here, you may have a problem with me because I want to see you be the best that you can possibly be. I want you to prove to that teacher that don't care about you that you can do the work. That's why, just like you said, the dumping ground. They throw all the kids in there. Sometimes they throw them in there. They're not even coming from like I teach reading, but they'll be coming out of math class. They said, "Nah, so you gonna sit down and pick up this book? Yes, ma'am. Let's get this work done."
Yes.
Right.
Yes.
Because they know in here you're gonna do what I ask you to do, and that's it.
We kind of tapped on the organizations. But we when we went on break, we was kind of talking about how the different organizations, Greek, Black oriented organizations, a lot of them in their missions, they talk about education.
Yes.
But if you think about it, it's really enough of that for these schools to have 1 or 2 advocates.
Right.
Yes.
Right. It really is.
You know
It
what I'm
really
saying?
is.
Like if you think about it, like even I'm a part of Sisters Incorporated, so like with all these organizations together, if they really focus on this,
and let's use the right language. All these black
yes,
organizations.
yes.
Black organizations. Let's just keep it black.
There's no reason why this shouldn't be highlighted that enough is enough in our district. Enough. But unfortunately, it feels as though, and I can only base it off the lack of demonstration of something different. It feels as though, as long as they get that phone call, that invitation to that meeting, to where they're part of in the space,
upper echelon.
leadership, they're okay with what's happening to our children. And the only reason why I would say that is because there's no action behind showing me something different.
Right.
So, because it shouldn't be a two-man show.
Right. And the focus seems to be on the higher level or the advanced education. It's okay. I understand you're focusing on all giving scholarships to kids that go into college.
Yes.
But what about the ones in third grade that can't pass and they're dropping out of high school by the time they're in ninth grade? Yes. Let's go back to that group, because you won't have college graduates without those kids.
It's funny because when we were on break and we was kind of saying, a lot of these people in these organizations, they are a different tax bracket.
Yes,
right?
correct. Yes.
But you know, it's funny, and this is gonna kind of switch gears, but it's not. So there's a lot of white people who felt like all lives matter until there was a one black person they cared about that was affected. They're like, oh, okay, now they realize Black lives matter, right? Because it's their one friend that it was like, wait a minute now, you know, I feel like that. Could be the same thing. You know what I'm saying? Yeah, that's them kids over there who can't necessarily afford to go to college, who can't afford to pay the fee to get in this organization.
That's right.
You know, until it's one of your loved ones that was a part of that school to prison pipeline. Not care about it, but we can care before.
Yeah, and we see that right now with the Bright Future scenario. Right now they get ready to tap into them funds, saying, okay, this is not going to be available XYZ. Remember, the majority of our children wasn't getting those funds anyway.
Right.
So now it is a conversation. Something to think about. But keep in mind, the same conversation should be happening that the 22% or the little under 25% is being pushed out in so much to where they come in more contact with DJJ than any other child on the camp on an average day campus. Yep. That's a problem.
Right.
Once a child connects to DJJ, they're more likely to be funneled directly into the school to prison pipeline, directly into juvenile justice system, then directly into adult prisons.
And we can't be oblivious to this. Now, I'm going to be honest with you guys. I didn't have these experiences in high school.
We know.
I didn't.
And you probably wouldn't, because most likely your parents,
right.
There you go, keyword parents. Were intentional about, I'm gonna be good. They were intentional about making certain that if there was a problem,
they would handle it.
They were aware of it before you even knew.
They would handle it.
And therefore they will handle it. At your younger ages, you may not have even known about it.
Right. But even, and I'm saying that to say, even though that wasn't my story, I gotta listen. And I need to do something about it. You know what I'm saying? Like, for all of us that think we quote unquote made it, and we have platforms, and we have, like, I can't be oblivious that this is not happening.
In our city.
This shouldn't have been the first time I known about this data.
Yes. And that's one of the things that we have said to Hillsborough County Public Schools, to our mayors, to our TPD, our HCSO, our state prosecutor, Andrew Warren. He's all on board to be, have these discussions, because he knows by the time they get to him, it's too late.
It's too
You're just going to give
late.
he just have to base it off what the consequences are going to be.
So
all these organizations, they have a responsibility. I mean, you got all these websites, and these platforms and these conversations, and everybody has
do y'all know the click funnels that could be if all y'all just put a button on y'all website to whatever. Do you know how, like, something as simple as that can make a difference?
Yes.
You know what I'm saying? Have a day, whatever. I don't know. We'll be back, y'all. I'm not trying to get too excited. We'll be back on Travis Talk Radio. Tell a friend, y'all. We got to change this narrative. We got to change it.
Call in and tell a friend to listen in.
Listen up.
It's In Touch Radio, reality radio.
Call Ricky. Ask Ricky. You need medical or a lawyer. I got the man to do the legwork for you. We tried the other ones before, so believe we hunted down 813-248-6300. Everything gon' be okay. Call Ricky, he coming. He taking kids state of Florida. Grab a pen of sundown 184-3 361-RICK. That's 1-800-361-7425. Never word from the point forward, just recline. Just ask Ricky, plus your boy statewide. Just in case you missed it, I'ma tell you one more time. 1-800-361-RICK. Call Ricky, ask Ricky. It's a legal medical referral service. The doctors and lawyers in our network are trained in handling auto injury claims and getting you the best medical treatment and recovery. Dial 1-844-361-RICK. That's 1-844-361-7425. Ricky. Ask Ricky.
Tap into that. Hold on. Hey y'all, it's Trap Talk Radio, Trap Talk, Trap Music, and Trap Possibilities with Madam CJ right here on In Touch Radio, reality radio where everyone is a star. We thank you guys for tuning in. I hope you guys are sharing this broadcast because this is something we need to talk about. I have the beautiful April Cobb and Ms. Denise in the building with me today. We're talking about the school to prison pipeline and what we need to do to change the narrative. So I'm going to say what we kind of been scooting around. If you are a part of a black organization, you need to be doing something about this because a lot of times it's a part of the mission and the statement, and it's so many chapters to all these organizations. I mean, we're not calling out this one; it's all of y'all. Whether you're Greek, non-Greek, based on focus on school, focus on the community. Most of those organizations have something around education and the youth. This is something that we need to talk about because we it's funny because we all want to talk about how the private prisons and how the people are making shoes and Nikes and before it sounds like before they get to prison, it's something that we can do.
That's correct. Right.
So I mean, we were just talking about just the difference that the community can make, and I'm just blown away. I'm blown away.
And all I know is that if we just take a moment and, step out of our own lives and step into the life of a child that, is experiencing all those academic deficits or, mental hardships, just put yourself in the position of that parent and then try to, figure out how they're going to navigate through this process and still go to work, still maintain household bills, still do all those things that are necessities, then you will develop some level of empathy and compassion that's necessary for all children. And yes, we have children that, are non-black that are, exhibiting the same behaviors. However, they don't get the same consequences.
Right.
And that's where we have the problem at. How's it that their level of behaviors for just being adolescents or just childlike behavior is so
understood.
Yeah, misunderstood to where they got pushed out of the classroom so quickly and frequently.
Exactly.
So we were kind of just talking about how this generation it was at 5508 they had a Halloween thing out here, and I was talking to April, and I was like, my baby can just work my phone. And so she was like, girl, they're coming out the wombs with the phone. So you guys were talking about the brain development with these new generation. What is about that?
Okay, so the prefrontal cortex, this lobe right here in the front, is not developed enough to process the amount of information that comes in off of these phones. And remember, a lot of parents just give the kids phones because it's just, don't bother me, here's your phone. But what they don't seem to understand, they don't lock it, they don't protect it, they don't go on the sites that the kids are on. So these kids are watching pornography and all kinds of stuff early in life.
Excessively.
And so of course then their behavior, because they want to mimic that behavior, they're doing things that they really not supposed to be doing. And so here it is now. You've got kids, and then they are so. This is such a tool for them, or a life tool.
It's a lifeline.
That I'm telling you, if you tell them they got to put it away, or you're gonna take it from them, they will lose their minds.
Yes.
They will fight you over their phone.
Yes.
And I'm older, so my generation is like I could care less because it ain't. It's not. I didn't grow up with a phone like that. I grew up with books. Okay, so. For me to say to talk to them about that, they just cannot separate that in their mind. And so now you imagine you're fighting. You want to give them an education, but you're fighting against the phone. You're fighting against video games. You're fighting against all the things that are distracting. So that's an extra added layer that makes it difficult for them to process. And then of course, as parents are not monitoring the phones, they're up all night. So I have kids that come to class, just come to school just to sleep. Well, why do you need to sleep? Well, I've been on my phone all night. Well, and this is your parents' phone. Your parents should take the phone away from you. But a lot of parents just they figure they use it as a pacifier. It's a pacifier, right?
It's funny because it's even I get antsy if I don't get my phone.
And I was just getting ready to say that. All of us could do this test.
Yes.
Take your phone. put it across the room for you.
Yes.
And leave all the bells and whistles on it and watch. You would be so immediate to walk over and touch that
I
phone.
can only imagine a child.
Exactly. They have no control.
Right. It's like sometimes I'm like, what?
Yes.
Yes. Yeah.
Gotta go back home to go get it if you left it.
Right.
You can't even go to work
right.
without
your
that phone. As if that phone could save your life. For example, a child will pick up the phone and video record versus going to get help seeing a peer being beat almost to death.
Right. No empathy. Correct.
What is that?
Correct. That's where the empathy goes away as well.
I'm going to video record it before I go seek help.
Yes.
We see adults do it all the time. Somebody's in a full car accident. Did you call 911 first? It's happening.
Oh, that breaks my heart. What am I setting my baby into?
But you see it happening. Well, on the flip side of it, you see what happening. Why people need to videotape things because that's evidence too.
Yes.
But I mean, with our kids, they don't process it well enough to realize. Wait a minute. There's a crime taking place.
Yes.
So I need to get help.
Right.
Okay, let me go.
Somebody call. Somebody call.
Right. Somebody.
Someone call 911.
Yeah, you only
first.
a designated person to do that. There's 40 of y'all in this crowd videotaping. Can somebody go? I mean,
So you say it's just a 2-man show. So do you guys have anybody else that work with you guys or?
Yes.
We do. We have Kachita Canty Jones. She is a very freshly new retiree from Hillsborough County Public Schools and leadership. And we also have
Dr. Angela Schroden. She's our secretary, and she helps us get it together in terms of planning and organization, being able to contact different people that we need to, and she's really highly organized in that. I think all together we function very well as a good
So
good
what
cohesive
made
unit.
you guys say, wait a minute now, we got to do something?
Oh, we've been in this thing for over 20 years.
20 years, yeah.
I think during COVID, we just really had a time to breathe,
process,
and be able to say, okay, we've been talking about this for some time, and we see that nobody else is talking about it. We've joined various organizations and see if they want to talk about it, or just even have an interest in the black child in general to where they're going to do something about it, to push back some of the things that Hillsborough County is saying that we know is not happening. And we just said, you know what? There's no need to talk about it anymore. We got to do something.
So it's funny because in COVID, I would watch you guys in COVID, right? That's the time.
Yes.
Now. I would watch you guys' videos. And some of it I just didn't understand because I'm not in the world. But I was just like, okay, it's something going on. I used to be watching it like, okay. Well, Hillsborough County, let me go Google these numbers. What are they talking about? So I can say even if COVID did a lot of damage.
Yes.
But I feel like it birthed a lot of things.
Yes, it did.
Yes, it did.
You know what I'm saying? Like
Yes,
I really wonder what that time frame is. Like when 5 years now we look back on it, like what we're gonna be able to really say, or what we're gonna be able to say about COVID. But I'm one of the people that was watching it. You know what I'm saying? And so I'm just like, okay, because you guys would not only just talk about, y'all would talk about different thing that was going on with the district and different changes that the schools was doing, the school board and all of that. So is there anything that you guys have coming up that you want us to know about? Anything that you want us to do as we're finishing up the show? Yeah.
So action items for us, all of our information can be found on our website that was developed by Bianca Goolsby, which is our go-to for all of our IT, tech stuff, website, so on and so forth, platform productions, and that is sunshineeducationcoalition.org.
Okay.
And we hosted the 28 Days of the Black Youth Experience. And basically, we wanted to be able to have those meaningful conversations and, discussions amongst those individuals that are in leaderships or experts in their own rights about this particular topic. And the videos are there as well. And we're always looking for individuals that are going to be genuine to the work. Not a fly by night. I'm gonna do it, but I really don't have the time. But I'm gonna act like no, because this is our baby. It really is,
and it is a movement, not a moment.
That's correct.
It is a period of time where we have to just keep fighting on this good fight till we go on the earth, because we need to be able to say, this is about the kids. The bottom line is it's always about the children. So, if people actually decrease themselves and remove their ego and remove everything about themselves and realize, who is this hurting the most? This is our children.
Is there any way that we can we give money? How does that work?
Yes, you can. So on our website, you'll find information about that says contact more. And let's go all the way back. The Sunshine Education Coalition falls underneath the Beauty Blueprint Foundation, which is a nonprofit, because it's an education-based nonprofit. So therefore, it's just one of those subsidiaries that fall underneath it because we needed that coalition in order to be the mouthpiece of what's happening as it relates to education as a whole. Yes. Primarily, Denise and I also have mentorship programs where we work with those same youth that, fall into those areas of, Mom or Dad, you ain't got to figure it out all by yourself. We're here to support. And again, but you're right, it does take money to do that. So there's information about that as well.
Okay, so y'all heard them. Get in contact with them. Check out the website, and if they want people, so we can be a part if people have the time and they're dedicated. They can be a part, and you can ask for support, and you also can give money. This, it ain't just talk, y'all. Money spent, money buy, money buy different things that they need. So if you believe in this, which you should, even if you don't believe in it, okay, believe for somebody else. I encourage you guys to support this movement, not a moment, but a movement, right? As we change the narrative to this school to prison pipeline epidemic that we're going through. So I thank you guys for coming on the show. I kind of want to have y'all back on the show in a couple months so we can talk about some things that y'all have done. Now that we are kind of getting out of COVID, I'm going to declare that we're getting out of COVID. I appreciate you guys. This is Chop Talk Radio. I will see you guys next week. We'll have a guest on the show and I'll announce that later on. I thank you guys. I love y'all. See you later. Bye. 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 See you later.
Welcome to Calvin's Barbershop.
You all got to see this.
I don't even want to know what